Amen.
A very pleasant good morning to you today. I'm Larry Ward from Inside Out Ministries, and my wife Deborah is over there, and we came here to share a little bit today with you about Inside Out Ministries. So in preparing for coming today, I wanted to know a little bit more about you guys, so I went to your website and looked around to see all the things you were involved with and the things you're doing, and I stopped on and dwelt on your vision statement where you chose the verse Luke 10:27, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and with all your mind, and your neighbor as yourself. So I'm here today to tell you a little bit about how we can help our neighbors in this community and how we are doing that at Inside Out Ministries. Jesus shows us in those verses that it's not easy to see those who are hurting on the other side of the road. And if you're familiar with Luke 10 there, he goes on, the young man questioned him about who was his neighbor, and he told the story of the Good Samaritan. And so in order to love your neighbor as yourself, we need to start seeing the needs of those who live around us. Kindness always starts with opening our eyes. We have to learn how to observe things. There are wounded people all over the world. Some live next door, and some walk by you at work, and some sit next to you in church. So in this day and age, hurry is the death of loving others. We hurry so much, we fail to see those who have needs. So the first step to kindness is to ask God to give you a spiritual radar so that you can sense when those around you have those needs. And that's what I want to talk to you a little bit about today. And at Inside Out Ministries, our mission statement is two-part. It says, one, to help those who are struggling with providing basic needs such as food, clothing, shelter for their families, by giving some assistance while offering the hope through the gospel of Jesus Christ to effect change from the inside out of each individual. And we also want to partner with local churches and civic organizations to become a central point of contact between the churches and the community to effect a change from the inside out there also. So when we step back and look at the timeline of how Inside Out began, it all started back in 2007. Deborah and I kind of independently were getting tugs and pulls from God, and sometimes a little slap in the back of the head that says focus. And he was leading us into this benevolence ministry that we eventually called Inside Out. In 2008, after we responded to that call, we opened the doors on March the 1st in our first building. God's message to us basically was, it's bigger than you, it's bigger than one church. And once we understood and yielded to God's calling, we found some like-minded people, created a board of directors, became a nonprofit charity incorporated in Alabama, and also sought our IRS standing as a 501c3 nonprofit charity. From there, the next big task was, what do we call this thing we've just created? You know, what was the name going to be? And after much struggling and going back and forth, the name always seemed to come back to Inside Out. And so that's what we chose as our name. And we find importance in that name in Scripture in Romans 12, verses 1 and 2, and especially in verse 2, where it talks about how you must be transformed, which is in Greek a metamorphosis process, a metamorpho. And so in the Message version of the Bible, it reads like this: instead, fix your attention on God, and you'll be changed from the inside out. So that's where our name comes from, and that's what we sought and are seeking to do, is help people change. Some people ask why in a city such as Madison, Alabama, which has one of the highest per capita incomes in the state, and where 1 out of 13 people are an engineer or a scientist, do we need a ministry that seeks to help people from a benevolent standpoint every day of the week? Well, according to 2010 census, our poverty level is only 5%, which is not very much compared to the rest of the nation. But we have many families who are in a level of 6% to 25% income bracket, and they're struggling day by day to make ends meet. One minor disaster in their home can create loss of income and possibly and potentially a loss of home, a loss of job, or even a splitting of the family. So who we are, Inside Out Ministries wants to help those who have found themselves struggling to provide food, clothing, or shelter. We're just a group of caring people made up from this community, some from this church, who are working every day to reach out to those who are in need and to become a resource and a bridge. We are a 100% volunteer organization. No one in the organization is paid a penny. Everything we do is free of charge, and we've been doing this for 10 plus years now. Again, who are we? We are a non-denominational evangelical ministry founded by Deborah and myself in answer to God's call. Deborah and I have been volunteering in different things in the Madison community over the last 30 years that we've lived here, from softball to helping Bob Jones, to helping with Relay for Life with American Cancer Society, helping in a lot of different areas, and we've come to know the community very well. And we're also disaster relief chaplains with Alabama Baptist Disaster Relief. Inside Out is supported by 50 plus volunteers. We have about 25 church partners, and we have several civic and corporate organizations who seek to help us in different ways through grants and volunteers. And then we have many individuals who help us do the things that we need to do every day. We assist individuals and families who have a demonstrated need. We support people of all ages. We don't discriminate on the basis of anything. And each year we help over 1,500 people in the Madison and Triana area. We also, in some way, you might say, help others, because there are other agencies who reside in our facility who do similar things that we do, and they also help people. So we help foster that too. Like I said, everything we do is free. We do financial assistance, which involves rent, utilities. Sometimes, especially for senior citizens, that may be a copay for surgery or some other kind of medical procedure. We have a food pantry, and we always say our food pantry is as large as a racquetball court, because it used to be a racquetball court in its former life. We have a clothes closet with winter coats and some dress outfits for people who are job seekers, and in the wintertime it's always good to have coats and scarves and hats and things available. But clothes are not our primary responsibility. There are other groups that are better at doing clothes than us, such as the thrift stores. So we usually refer most clothing donations to the thrift stores. We try to educate people who come in for assistance. We do what we used to call budgeting, but now we call it money management. It's less threatening to them. We try to do job counseling where we can to help people find jobs or to improve the job they have. And One point, we did have some family counseling, but we don't have that available right now. For everyone who calls us, we are in the office 5 days a week from 9:30 to 2, and we have people there answering the phones, doing what we can. There are many who call that are within our zip codes that we can service. I mean, we're limited by our size on how far our funds can go, but right now we service the 35756, 35757, 35758, 35824, and 35749 zip codes. So that's where we're stretched to. Many times people call us after hours. They can leave a message on our answering machine. We return every call, even if they live outside those zip codes. We will call them and tell them who is the closest person in their area to help them. One thing, if somebody asks you about how to find help, you can always tell them to call 211. That's a statewide number that tells them how to find assistance for just about anything they need assistance with. Like I said, we're open from 9:30 to 2. We also are there many times after hours processing the information that we've received that day from the different people who have come in for assistance. We are there sometimes at special times because some people who need assistance are working, but they can't take time off from their job to come and ask for help. So we might meet them after hours to keep them working. We also have special work days in which we try to keep the facility up and running and clean. We do a special event every year at Bob Jones High School called the Community Thanksgiving Dinner. We are there on the night before Thanksgiving. It's a dinner that is open to everyone in our community. It is not income-based. It's based on the fact that you live in Madison and that your nearest relative may be 3 states away. So for that night, we want to be family for you that night and serve you in some way. Our facility, the facility we're in now, is down just off of Sullivan Street on Gin Oaks Court, which is kind of behind Dr. Bailey, next to Dr. Solon's. It's what was once Madison's first fitness center. It was called Madison Racquetball and Fitness Club. Now it's got a new purpose and a new fitness center, spiritual fitness. It was built around 1990, and this is our 3rd location. We started out in 850 square foot space in Miller Plaza on the lower level. We stayed there for 2 years. After 2 years, we moved to Hughes Road to a storefront. We were there almost 2 years, and then we found this facility. So we went from 850 square feet to 1,500. Now we have 15,000 square feet. So we think we might be there for a little bit longer. So why do we do what we do? I think Franklin Graham summed it up very well when he said this. This is the distinctive of the Christian faith: helping the oppressed, the poor, the hurting, the victimized, while proclaiming the hope of eternal life through faith in Jesus Christ. That's why we're there, and that's why we do things. People come thinking they need to be monetarily assisted. What people really need is a change of heart in many cases. So many of their problems start in the heart. Things in their life, sins that have progressed over the years, have drawn them down a path that needs changing. So we want to try to help them get that change from the inside out, so that they can see that it's more than just a money problem, that their thoughts and their actions are causing problems that could be changed and could lead to a better, productive life. Day-to-day operations around Inside Out is helping determine people's demonstrated needs and assessing through a process that we have to assess those needs. We have a food pantry, which requires a lot of work of food coming in, food going out, keeping up with all that, meeting the requirements that are there from the food bank and other organizations. For community outreach, Inside Out can serve as an emergency shelter or a warming center. We have a capability, we have a generator for our building that will operate the whole building, so we have that capability to be a warming center when no one else has power. We also are a Way FM Christmas prayer sponsor. We also sponsor elementary school snack program where we work with guidance counselors at different schools to make sure that the kids have snacks, especially the ones who can't afford them and don't have them. So we work with those counselors. We provide some snacks, but when we can, we try to connect a local church with the school that's near them. And again, the community Thanksgiving dinner is another part of our outreach. On site in our building, on Sundays, we have a church that uses our building. It's Harvest Point Methodist Church. They're a church plant. And also we have Community Action Partnership, which is a nonprofit funded by the state, and they help with utilities during the winter and summer months. And then in the spring, we have AARP, who does free tax service in our building. There are many volunteer opportunities: food pantry, sorting, checking, picking up, and cleaning up. We need those people who can counsel, do the financial assistance counseling. We need general office workers who can do copies, filing, scheduling, job counselors, somebody who knows things about jobs and resumes and writing skills on how to write resumes in a better and clearer fashion. We also have databases that constantly need attention as far as being updated and different things. We have a website that needs updating occasionally, and we always have facility maintenance and repair. So also, talking about volunteers, I want to thank those who serve at Inside Out every week from this congregation. We have Ms. Janice Combs and Kate Hewitt and Elizabeth High and Catherine Barr and Bridget Castle, who serve with us every week, and we're thankful for them. And they can probably tell you a little bit more about Inside Out than I can sometimes. So we also have tours available. If anybody's interested, you can give us a call. We have some brochures over in the room, the other part of the building, that look like this. That gives you some of the information I've talked about here today. Also gives you the contact information if you wanted to set up an interview or call us and come in for a tour of the facility and find out if you'd like to come and serve there. So again, I want to thank Father Chris and all who have brought us here today, and thank you for your support in our ministry.